G'day legends, welcome back, and today we got a couple of things to go over. Number one, the horrible matchmaking in the UFC that is continuing to happen under the TKO era. We're also going to touch on a bit of Dustin Poirier news. I know he's been out of the game for so long, 73 days, and he's already talking coming back. And we are going to prove why the good old narrative that the UFC fighters give us, the YouTube creators, of you don't know, man, you're not in there, man, you don't know what you're talking about, man, is once again completely untrue. Let's get into it straight at the top. The news is starting to filter out following Diego Lopes's interview on the Ariel Helwani show yesterday that Volkanovski has been benched, and it looks like TKO, the UFC, are looking to rebook Diego Lopes for Alexander Volkanovski in February.
This is number one bullshit.
This just screams of TKO matchmaking. It's the absolute worst. It is the absolute worst. Look, I can see from TKO's perspective why they're doing this. You know what? Stop. Let me read this tweet first, right? I spoke with Alexander Volkanovski's head coach. He told me that the most logical thing would be for them to return from a main event in February, Australia. The opponent would either be Murphy or Lopes. Lopes recently told me Volk in February sounds great. So this sort of makes sense when you look at the way that the UFC sets up their calendar and the way the UFC do all their matchmaking. There are plenty of fights to fill out the rest of the year. There is also the January card, which is rumored to be Ilia Topuria's return. Then, pretty much every single year, we return to Australia in February. That is most likely going to be the pay-per-view that is in Australia. So why not take your superstar of the region and just put him on the bench until he goes down there? Then, of course, you have got Diego Lopes. You've got Lerone Murphy. You've got Movsar Evloev. All while considering Alexander Volkanovski's age. Look, I do think Volk is going to lose one of his next two fights. It is simply inevitable. The man turned 37 yesterday. How long can you keep this going at featherweight? So, who do you want to give the mantle to next to be that one that the promotional machine is behind? Does Movsar Evloev deserve it? In a way, yes, he does. I mean, let's be real. The dude has won like 9 fights in a row. Sure, the last 3 have been iffy decisions, and he has yet to get a single finish in the UFC, but meritocratically speaking.
I don't give a fuck.
Fair enough.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it is Movsar Evloev, but also on top of that as well, there's Lerone Murphy, who has got that awesome knockout recently. So yeah, I mean, it was a knockout against a guy that wasn't in the UFC's top 5, right? He was just coming over from PFL Bellator, but still, Lerone Murphy has gone on an amazing win streak and got that knockout. But it is obvious to the boardroom at TKO that Diego Lopes is the one that gets the most clicks. There's no point really saying sells the most pay-per-views anymore, especially since we're talking about February 2026, when most of the pay-per-view sales come from America, and pay-per-views will be gone in America next year anyway. But Diego Lopes is the one where this part here is the most important thing, right? How many views do you get? How many views per click? How many views? 30k views. Who brings in the most views? And it's no doubt that out of Lerone Murphy, Movsar Evloev, and Diego Lopes is the one that gets the most views. But that is obviously, it is so obvious that that is the way that the matchmaking is going in the UFC right now. And as much as I say to us, the MMA fans, it's our fault. And it is our fault, because if we drew our attention away to something else like the PFL or to the BKFC, the UFC wouldn't do this. They simply would not do this. I mean, we just proved this in Australia last weekend. They tried to sell us $700 seats for the nosebleeds, and we, the Australians, told the UFC to get fucked, and they ended up giving us the tickets for $75. That is the power of boycotting something. Now, it wasn't a boycott that was done on purpose, but it was a boycott that just happened to happen. Like, we just chose not to go, and the UFC dropped the prices. And at this point, that is the only thing that is going to change TKO's business practices.
Stand your base. Stand your base. The space is your space, yeah? Go ahead, carry on.
Fortunately, I just don't think there is enough outrage out there yet at something like this happening. I don't even think that many people out there would be that outraged that Diego Lopes jumps in for yet another title shot, because his fan base is swelling so much. I love Diego Lopes. I should have prefaced that earlier. I think he's sick. Someone who takes short notice fights, someone who's primarily a stand-up but has some sick jiu-jitsu in the bottom, someone who's always going for finishes. I think Diego Lopes is one of the sickest fighters on the roster. He's one of my most favorite fighters. but it is not. I still like to see contenders who have just fought the champ go on a little bit of a win streak, not just one win, especially with the division being so busy. Also, selfishly, I'm more of an Alexander Volkanovski fan than I am of a Diego Lopes fan. And to be real, we are talking about Volk's place in the top 5 of the GOAT list right now. You know, with all the work that he has done against great opponents in the past and winning back the belt as the oldest guy to do it in under 100, 150, 170, 180 pounds. I don't remember what the stat is, 50 or 70 pounds. Which one is it where he's the youngest guy to win back a belt? Volk's legacy needs to be cemented in stone right now. And to me, taking on someone like Movsar Evloev, who I think is a super beatable opponent for Alexander Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski is a very small ball of muscle. He's very good at his get-ups again. The one flaw that Alexander Volkanovski really has is that in-out movement where he's always getting clipped on the chin. And now that he is getting a little bit older and a little bit slower, those clippings on the chin are going to be a lot more devastating than they were to Alexander Volkanovski 5 years ago. But Movsar Evloev is not a knockout machine, yeah? Plus, we have Craig Jones in our corner. I, as an Australian, really like the Volk versus Movsar fight. I want to see that fight for his legacy. Also, selfishly, benching Volk because the pay-per-views are sorted out ruins his legacy as well. The dude fought in April. Volk loves a short turnaround. Volk was talking about July. Then he was talking about November. Then he was talking about Abu Dhabi. Now the cards have been filled up. Now the UFC is saying, well, you know, we're probably just going to wait until February so we can fill in the February pay-per-view. You're ruining these fighters' legacy by putting them on the bench and waiting for them TKO. And it's simply not going to change. Just like the ticket prices were not going to change unless the groundswell comes from us, the fans. I don't want Diego Lopes to get the next title shot. I like Diego Lopes. I don't want him to get the next title shot. Do a Diego Lopes versus Aljamain Sterling. Do Diego Lopes versus Movsar Evloev too. Diego took that fight on short notice. Movsar Evloev took that fight on short notice as well. It was a razor-thin fight. Honestly, when you read the rules of MMA and it says impact, it's not damage-based scoring. It doesn't say fucking damage-based scoring anywhere in the rules. It says impact towards finishing the fight. You could score that round to you could score that fight to Diego Lopes. Round 1, Diego Lopes had the most impact towards finishing the fight with a submission that he nearly landed, and in round 3 as well. If it was anyone else other than Movsar Evloev, who has the flexibility of a man made of rubber, anyone else would have tapped on those. So it's a razor close fight. Either way, fine, Movsar got the win, whatever, fine. But they're now 2 number 1 contenders next in line for the throne. And Lerone Murphy is right there. It just makes so much sense to me to do Lerone Murphy against Alexander Volkanovski in Abu Dhabi. And then if Volk wins that and he hasn't got any injuries, then run Volk in February against the winner of Movsar versus Diego Lopes. But that way, there's that if. And TKO don't do that if anymore. Now TKO just bench everyone until their calendar pops up for it, which is also encouraging the guys in the top 5 to just stay benched until the calendar rolls around for them. It's annoying, man. It's annoying. And
He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me. And that's my own personal, he annoys me.
This is why we must stop watching the UFC en masse and start watching the BKFC. It's the only thing they will understand. Next bit of news. Sean O'Malley says that Ilia Topuria is the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. He literally says Ilia Topuria is the GOAT. The GOAT. Just straight up the GOAT. The GOAT. The GOAT. For GSP, Mighty Mouse, John Jones, Anderson Silva, Fedor Emelianenko. All this, irrelevant. Ilya's won 3 fights, I tell you. These 3-fight win streak that he went on is enough to outdo everyone ever. Even though he got Volk at the right time and he got Charles towards the end of his career. The Max one is just... Even the Charles one is quite good. Like, no one has slept Charles that bad. It's good. Ilya's really good. This is the problem, right, with MMA fans. If you say Ilya isn't the GOAT, then you must mean Ilya is dog shit. Again, massive Ilya fan. He's amazing. Love him. He's not the greatest fighter of all time. Let's listen to O'Malley.
Ilya is pound for pound the greatest fighter to ever walk this earth. Greatest fighter pound for pound ever.
Even over Jones, dude, huh?
Yeah. Even over Jones, I think. It's just like who he's, dude, his last 3 fights, KOs.
I bring this to you because, let me do my best Chael Sonnen, and I bring this to you because it's a very unreal thing that he said. It's just on this end of the screen, we cop it so much. The old, like, mate, you even bloody train MMA. Why don't you get in the cage and throw on the gloves, mate? All these shit talkers on YouTube, you don't know what you're talking about. Bro, just because you train MMA, just because you were a world champion, doesn't mean you instantly know what the fuck you're talking about. Have you guys seen Israel Adesanya's pick rate recently? It's awful. It's fucking awful. I don't know why Sean O'Malley is giving Ilia Topuria the Huck tour with some extra glaze. The fact of his throat is fucking bruised up. I don't understand why Sean O'Malley's doing this. It's insanity to me. It's insanity, but I just thought that was bloody hilarious. And lastly, let us move on to the very last thing that I wanted to show you guys. Dustin Poirier says that he wants to fight Nate Diaz on the first Zuffa boxing card, or at least on a Zuffa boxing card. There's one fight that got away, but not just this that Dustin has said. Dustin was just chatting to some of the fans on his X, on his Twitter. And one of them just straight up asked, would you accept a boxing fight? And Dustin went, yeah, probably, yeah. It has been 73 days. Dustin Poirier's already got the itch. Problem is now he ain't got nothing to scratch. He's back. He's going to do a boxing fight. He is 100% going to do a boxing fight. I don't understand. The one thing that I don't understand is, Dustin, you're a free agent now. You've been released by the UFC, the roster tracker, we caught it. You're out of the UFC. Nate Diaz is a free agent right now. We know that Zuffa boxing is trying to become like the Contender Series of boxing and then push up the winner of the Contender Series of boxing to a ring star, like a traditional boxing champion, and put him in rings. Dana White and Zuffa are not going to pay you as much as Misfits, you know, or as much as just some promoter where you and Diaz throw this thing together. I'm pretty sure Diaz has got his own boxing promotion now as well. Like, they all start one. Why not just, if you want to box Diaz, just box Diaz, but do it under a free... This is the whole point of being a boxer. You're a free agent. There's no overheads to pay. There's no company. There's no PI. There's no healthcare. Yes, the UFC fighters get healthcare. It's from fight to fight, not long-term healthcare, but they do get healthcare. Like, there is not this system to put in place. It's just... get the cameras, get the venue, get a deal with Netflix or DAZN, and put the fight together and claim all the profit. Why go groveling back to Zuffa, Dustin? I don't understand this at all. I thought Dustin was a smarter businessman than this, but maybe there's something that I'm not seeing. Maybe there's something that I'm not seeing. But are we going to see Dustin Poirier and the goated walk out one more time and him put on the gloves and the shoulder roll and fix the hair? Undoubtedly, we are going to see it one more time. Dustin! Dirty boxing, brother. Talk to Jones. I don't know how Dustin and Jones's relationship is. Dirty boxing or BKFC. I don't know if Dustin could do BKFC. BKFC is... it's for savages. BKFC is for the most vicious of the most vicious. It's for savages. I don't know if Dustin's still got it in him. So it's true. I'm again a massive Dustin fan. I don't know if Dustin's still got it in him. BKFC is just a different level of savage. But there we go. That's the news. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is your first time here, g'day, welcome. My name is Dougie. I make an MMA video all the bloody time, and I go live all the bloody time as well. If you want to know when I go live, you want to know when a new video drops, that's what the subscription button and the notification bell is for down there. So hit them up. Let me know down in the comments. Sean O'Malley, Insanity. What do you want to see next for VOLK? Let me know about all that down there in the comments. If you're one of the bloody legends of the channel, always supporting the channel, commenting, watching, being involved with it, buying a membership, gifting some memberships to other people, there's a big thank you to you guys on the next screen, as well as the top 10 pickers of Dougie's Corner, the live stream. We've changed some of the rules. We'll talk about it in the live. Until then, wherever you guys are in the world, have yourselves a great day. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.